Hello Internet, Kyle Sheely here. Some of you have seen, I've posted some stuff on Instagram, random stuff I've made out of cardboard. I made this to W. It's like crossed swords with some hands. Anyways, a lot of people have asked about how I make that and where the ideas come from and stuff like that. So today I'm going to take you through the process, start to finish, of me making a mask. This mask is going to be an Abraham Lincoln mask. There's a parade in my town and I'm going to be writing penny farthings, but I thought it'd be really cool if I built a giant Abe Lincoln mask to wear to the parade. So here is how it's going to happen. The supplies that you'll need if you're going to do something like this: some sort of cutting apparatus. So I've got scissors here and I've got two different kinds of knives. Don't be stupid, don't cut yourself with the knife, don't cut towards yourself, know what you're doing, and don't blame me if you cut your finger off. Also a hot glue gun. This pew 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 is like a hot glue gun. They're actually like cold melt glue guns, which are confusing, but they're not as good. So I use this stuff. It will burn the heck out of you if you get it on yourself. So again, be smart, don't burn yourself. But that's what I use to stick the cardboard together. And then of course cardboard. Now a lot of times I use just regular boxes that I have from like Amazon or whatever. But for this, I just want to show you how cheap you could do something like this. So I got these moving boxes from Walmart, and I got two of them. Each one is ginormous, and together it was like $5 total. So anyways, all this stuff together, if you don't have a glue gun and scissors and all that kind of stuff, will probably cost you, I don't know, $15 or $20. But really just the cardboard and glue is like a couple bucks every time. So anyways, here is how I'm gonna do it. So I try to build everything custom for whatever it's going to be for. So for this is a mask that I am personally going to wear. So I want it to fit my head really well. Now what I'm gonna do is cut a band that's gonna go around the top of my head, and then I'm gonna build other bands around it. So it's kind of like a dome shape that will sit on top of my head, and that'll keep the mask up. This looks really silly, but again, you won't be seeing any of this in the final mask. So this is just kind of the framework. Now onto the actual mask making. One thing I like to do when I'm making these masks is kind of sketch out a general idea of what I'm doing. So these are two sketches I made. This one's for if I was gonna do like an Uncle Sam mask, and this is the Abraham Lincoln mask. And I'll probably combine some elements of both of these. This mouth area is actually where my eyes will look out. So this mask is going to be really tall. So I mean, this will be where the mouth is. His eyes will be way up here. His head will be, keep on going. So anyways, this is kind of the general plan. We're going to start just building out a general head shape. And then from there you can add texture and the nose and the eyes and the face and the beard and all that kind of stuff. So for this, I'm basically taking the rest of this sheet and I'm going to roll it into a big kind of cylinder shape. And then I'll glue that to this, and that'll give us a starting point. His hat and his face are the same width, so we're going to use the same tube that's going to be all the way from here down to about here. And then the beard will actually come down my chest. That'll be a separate piece. Now I'm going to start kind of roughing out the shape of the chin and where the hat's going to be, and you'll see me kind of sketching some stuff on there with a pen. I don't know how much of this you can actually see. There's the nose, the mouth, his eyes. I might shorten this nose up a little. It's really long. But I'm trying to elongate his features because he was a really tall dude. I'm going to start cutting now, and then you'll see me sort of building up features on his face. But you can see there's also a line here. That's where his hat starts. So face turns into hat, all one piece, helps preserve structural integrity. I also just brought out my computer so I can look up source pictures of Abraham Lincoln to kind of get a rough idea. Obviously this is going to be very caricature-ish. This blue light looks creepy on my face. But it'll give me like some interesting source material to pull from, and then I can take my inspiration from there. One of the things you'll notice, this is the nose piece. It's going to go right on here. You'll notice it's like kind of wider at the top, and then it's going to taper off. Anytime you want to like exaggerate the length of someone's face, doing something like that where you draw a big taper and stretch all the features out can make him seem even more tall or lanky or whatever. And that's one of the defining features of Abraham Lincoln, was how tall and lanky he was. So even though his nose was really a pretty nondescript nose, I'm stretching it way out and kind of exaggerating the proportions just to give that caricature-esque look. Sorry if you hear my daughter crying. I promise my wife is back there rocking her right now, so we're not just letting the baby scream forever. One of the nice things about cardboard is that it's really pliable and manipulatable, I guess, if that's a word. And so if you want to get a certain curve to it or whatever, you can bend it pretty easily. You can force it, and it's very forgiving. It kind of allows you to do a lot of different things with it. So that's one of the reasons I like. If you want to get a specific, again, this is going to be the nose. If I want the nose to look a certain way from the side, I can kind of stand over there and see how I want that, and then bend the cardboard accordingly and get the basic shape. And then I can use some shims and other support pieces of cardboard to really hold it where I want it once I've got it there. Okay, so now you see I've built up the basic framework for the nose, and I've cut out the mouth. And then I will go ahead and I'll add in a couple more supporting pieces of cardboard, probably here and here, just to give the nose the right profile. And then I'll start laying over other pieces of cardboard that will cover this in and make it more of shape and less of just a frame. One of the things that I wanted to point out is that I cut a lot of these little shims, where I'll basically cut a little piece of cardboard that's about yay big, and I'll fold it into an L shape like this, and then I'll apply the glue to the outside edges, and I'll put that against something flat, and then this against another flat piece. And a lot of times I'll line these up, so underneath the nose you'll see I've got one here and one here. I'm probably going to put another couple in there, and that really holds the structure of a piece in place. And so a lot of times when you might see two pieces butted up like this and it just looks like a smooth-ish, as smooth as you can get with cardboard, juncture there, on the inside of that there's a lot of these little shims just to give that some structure and support so it doesn't wobble, it doesn't fall apart, and that's kind of what provides the internal structure of the whole thing. Sometimes too you can bend a piece of shape like this if you can get it up against a flat edge, and then you just go mark a line exactly where you need to cut. That way you're not trying to guess. Right now I'm shaping the kind of brow area where the nose blends into the forehead. Alright, so last night I got tired and also ran out of glue sticks. So I went to bed. We are back. I have purchased more glue sticks, and we are going to keep rolling. So last night I got, as far as the nose, I got this brow section, and you can see I filled in underneath. And then I did the hat brim. So this is not even secured in place yet, but I'll glue all that down here in a minute. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the ears and the eyes, and then I will get started on the beard, which, as I mentioned, I'm going to build as a separate piece and then kind of attach it later, kind of like I did with the hat. So here we go. So this is the ear I started on last night, just to kind of get the rough shape. Your ear starts right about even with your eye, and then it stops right about even with your mouth, and so kind of like the corner of your mouth. So that's kind of the distance I went for. You can, again, playing with features on puppets is great. So you can exaggerate the ear, you can make it really big or really small. Abraham Lincoln actually kind of had big ears, so but I don't want to make them like big, wide ears. So I'm just kind of keeping the whole thing streamlined, because really the whole point of what I'm doing here is to make him look really tall. So I want a really long, skinny ear that goes up like this. I'll build this up in a couple layers to give it some texture, and then I'll make a duplicate for the other side, and then we'll glue it on there with some tabs in the back. adding layers of cardboard, it gives it layers of texture, but it also gives it more strength, because one sheet of cardboard is really not all that strong. So by building it up in layers, and instead of just making all the layers exactly the same, you vary them a little bit, and that gives you some interesting texture and lets you play with the shape a little bit. And then, like I said, also gives some more rigidity to the cardboard, because once you add the second piece and the layer of glue in between there, really kind of beefs up the whole operation. One thing to keep in mind is that you can do additive stuff with cardboard, where you like layer it on top of each other and do textures with that. But you can also do subtractive stuff. So like on this eye, this is going to be one of the eyes potentially. And I thought about just putting the pupil as like another layer on top of that. But then I thought, well, the pupil is actually like a hole in your eye. So I cut a hole out, and then I will put another piece of cardboard behind this, paint that black, so there'll be some depth there. I kind of played with both of those things on these ears. You can see here, there's a base layer, and then there's layers of cardboard built up to kind of give the, not only the shape, the rough outline shape of the ear, but also kind of the three-dimensional shape. And this stuff right here, where you see the cracks and stuff, we can seal all that up later. Sometimes with cardboard from behind, and then sometimes also we're going to put, obviously his beard will come down this side, and so that'll mask a lot of that. Okay, so I'm getting ready to work on the beard at this point. I would just like to point out that just now will I be cutting into the second box. So this is the moving box. Each of these cost me $2.50 or something like that. So I was able to get all of that out of one box, and I really probably could finish the whole thing with one box, but since I'm doing the beard as a separate piece and I want that to be one whole thing, I'm going to use the second box. But I just mentioned that to show you like how cheaply this stuff can be done. This whole mask right now has cost me about $2.50 in cardboard and you know, maybe a couple bucks in glue sticks. So really, really cheap to do, really easy. I'm just rolling this piece to kind of give it the same contour and curve as the face has. This beard is going to be one piece. It's going to kind of come up from here, wrap around, and go back up. Abraham Lincoln did not have a mustache, so it's just going to be the chin strap beard. I want to keep the whole thing as one piece. Part of that's for structural stability, and part of it's for ease of painting. I can paint the whole face separately, just like the skin tones and stuff. I'll have to do some masking off for the hat, but that's pretty simple. Then I can paint the beard black separately and then kind of put it all together as one thing. What I'm doing now is trying to measure out how far, basically the sideburns, how far those are going to come down before I need to cut over. I'm putting the hair on the beard. You saw that I kind of cut out the basic shape of the beard. This is basically a great spot to use up any kind of scraps that you have. We're just looking for long, stringy kind of pieces, which after cutting out the ears and the nose and all that kind of stuff, I've got a lot of just random kind of scraggly shapes, which makes for really good hair texture. So again, what we're trying to do here is just kind of keep it from being this flat, boxy shape. So we're going to add a bunch of little hairs all over the top of it. Then when we paint it, it'll actually look more beard-like and less just like a big flat thing coming off of his chin. There's really no science to this hair stuff. It's just kind of taking a look and going, oh, we don't want too many big pieces in one area. We don't want too many small pieces in one area. Make sure that I guess the grain of the beard looks natural in some way. But really, it's not that big of a deal. You just want to add a bunch of texture to here. And if you wanted like a rougher beard, you could curl up some of the ends of it. I'm trying to make this kind of streamlined so all the hairs are going down, all of them are stuck to the beard. But if you wanted, you could peel up the corners, you could kind of add texture, like have the beard kind of pieces come out and curl or whatever, if you were doing like a big Viking beard or something like that. So same thing with hair. If you're ever doing hair on a puppet or a mask, how you texture the cardboard and how you bend it and how you shape it really can add a lot of extra effect to making the hair look somewhat realistic. You'll notice that I glued the beard on. That's just to take a picture. I'll take it back all apart. In fact, I'm going to take the eyebrows off, the eyes off, the top of the hat off, all of that before I paint. so I can paint everything separately. I will have to do a little bit, like I said, a little bit of masking between, because the bottom of the face will be flesh tone and the top will be the hat, since that's all one piece, but that's pretty simple to do. And so I'll take it all apart, paint it all separately, and then glue it back together once we're ready to go. Alright, now it's just final assembly. I sort of forgot to start videotaping this, so as you can see I've put his eyes on, his hat. I've not done the eyebrows yet, and I'm putting the beard on now. I've glued on one side, letting that glue set, and then I'm going to glue on the other side, then glue on the eyebrows, and then this mask will be donezo. And that, my friends, is how you make a 5-foot-tall Abraham Lincoln mask. Ta-da! And here's what the final mask looked like with me writing on the penny farthing. This is me practicing before the parade just to make sure I didn't kill myself in front of children. And then here's a shot of me actually writing with the mask on in the parade. And I actually managed to make the front page of the paper the next day, which was kind of cool. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to click that subscribe button, and I will bring you more crazy stuff very soon. Thanks a lot.